Chapter 1348, Xiao Zhouheyun Chujiu gradually realized the problem. To be precise, she was not drinking water, but absorbing something in the river water. Could it be that Go Weiba was absorbing the poison in the river water? Sigh, she did not know what the hell Go Weiba was. It liked poison so much that it could not even move its legs when it saw the poison. Seeing that she wasn't in danger of bursting to death, Yun Chujiu wasn't so angry anymore. She simply closed her eyes and went to sleep. After all, no demon beasts dared to come to this riverside. After the big-hearted guy woke up, he found that he was still absorbing the poison like a little bastard, so he simply fell asleep again. When Yun Chujiu woke up again, it was already the morning of the next day. Go Weiba, are you done yet? You've been drinking for the whole night and you still haven't finished. Yun Chujiu said angrily. As soon as Yun Chujiu finished her sentence, she gained control of her body. However, how could her body not be stiff after staying in the same position for the whole night? Yun Chujiu fell into the river. Fortunately, the water by the river was not very deep, so she did not drown tragically. Yun Chujiu was so angry that she cursed the Guai Cao 108 times. The Guai Chao was now very satisfied and could scold it however it wanted. Anyway, it had achieved its goal and frequently used its leaves to form a heart shape to act cute. Unfortunately, in Yun Chujiu's eyes, this was a black-hearted grass. No matter how cute it was still a black-hearted grass. Yun Chujiu climbed onto the bank and used her spiritual power to dry her clothes. After that, she had an idea. She did not know if the poison had been completely absorbed by the Guai Chao. Therefore, she asked Mao Qiu to take out another golden-armored turtle and put it into the river. An hour passed, and the golden-armored turtle was still fine. It seemed that the poison in the river had been completely absorbed by Guai Chao. Yun Chujiu decided to do a good deed to the end. She asked Mao Qiu to take out a lot of water grass seeds and sprinkle them in the river water. Then, she took out some small fish, shrimp, and aquatic demon beasts and put them into the river water. Suddenly, the entire river was full of life. Yun Chujiu looked at her masterpiece proudly and said proudly, I gave this river a new life. From now on, this river should be called Little Jioha. Well, this guy had completely forgotten how reluctant she was before. This guy took out a big stone from his storage ring and used a hammer to chisel out the 3 words, Little Jioha. Then, he painted it with cinnabar. The stone tablet was considered a success. Yun Chujiu set up the stone tablet and looked at it with satisfaction. Just as she was about to give another long speech, her stomach started growling. She remembered that she hadn't eaten yet, so she took out a meat bun and started eating. After eating and drinking, Yun Chujiu decided to go to the other side of the river to take a look. The poisonous river had divided the area, so there might be many high-level spirit herbs there. Yun Chujiu jumped into the river and swam to the other side. The river was very wide. When Yun Chujiu was halfway there, a huge suction force suddenly came from the bottom of the river. Yun Chujiu tried her best to struggle but to no avail, and her vision fell into darkness. Before Yun Chujiu fainted, she only thought of one sentence, people die for money, birds die for food. When Yun Chujiu regained consciousness again, she found that she was tightly tied up, and her spiritual power was also restricted. She was even locked in a damn cage. Yun Chujiu looked around and realized that she seemed to be in a palace. The decorative patterns on the walls and the stone slabs on the ground gave off an ancient aura. She estimated that this palace had existed for a long time, but which bastard had captured me? Chapter 1349. The bitch uses a sword. Yun Chujiu shouted at the top of her voice, is anyone there? Why are you locking me up? If you are breathing, hurry up and come out. Otherwise, I will say something unpleasant. If I scold someone, even the old bastard Tian Dao will be afraid. Bitch, shut up. How dare you insult Tian Dao? You are really audacious. Yun Chujio looked at the thing that came in and laughed so hard that tears were about to come out. Please, I want to ask, are you a white steamed bun that has become a spirit? That white steamed bun was so angry that he could not contain his anger. Stupid girl. I think you don't want to live anymore. Which eye of yours sees me as a white steamed bun? You are the white steamed bun. Your whole family is a white steamed bun. Yun Chujio held back her laughter and said, you still don't want to admit it? Look at you. You are round and full of white hair. You are a living white steamed bun that has turned into a spirit. The white steamed bun was so angry that it almost turned into a red steamed bun. It was the first time it had encountered such an arrogant captive. Could you be a little more aware of being a captive? Stupid girl. Do you know who I am? How dare you offend me? Aren't you afraid that I will kill you? The white steamed bun said fiercely, however, its appearance was too comical, so no matter how one looked at it, it was not scary. How would I know who you are? I only know that if you don't let me go immediately, I will turn you into a white pancake. Yun Chujio said with her mouth curled. Bai Mantu said through gritted teeth, you still dare to threaten me? You are now my prisoner. It is easy for me to kill you. Then just kill me. Why waste your breath? Come on, kill me. I think it's good to die here. This palace looks pretty good too. If I die here, I can be considered to have a gorgeous tomb. If there's nothing else, my ghost can still come out and play hide-and-seek with you. How good would that be? Yun Chujio said indifferently. You. Humph. You must be pretending to be calm. Darn girl, where did you put the poison in the river? Hurry up and hand it over, or it'll kill you. Bai Mantu somehow got a treasured sword from somewhere and gestured at Yun Chujio. Poison. Did you put the poison in the river? Bai Mantu pointed at Yun Chujio with his sword and said angrily, that was the weak water that I got with great difficulty, but it was all destroyed by you. And you even fucking built a little Jyoha? Are you shameless? Yun Chujio was also furious. You shameless Bai Mantu. You still pointed your sword at me. You really are a slut who uses a sword. You poisoned it, and you still have reason. I helped that river regain its vitality, so what if I named it after me? What has it got to do with you? You are simply infuriating me to death. Don't you know that my palace is right under that river? If it wasn't protected by the weak water, my palace would have been attacked by aquatic demon beasts. What would I do then? Bai Mantu said angrily. Yun Chujio curled her lips. If my guess is correct, you are the Qi Ling of this great wilderness mystic realm, right? Bai Mantu snorted arrogantly. That's right, so you have to hand over the weak water obediently. Bai Mantu, it's not that I want to criticize you, but as a Qi Ling, you actually used sinister methods to protect your palace. You are really shameless. Just because of your selfishness, you turned the entire river into poison. You're really wicked. No wonder you look like this. It's retribution. Bai Mantu choked with anger and actually fainted on the ground. Yun Chujio touched her nose. She fainted just like that. Wasn't her mental endurance too weak? Chapter 1350 White bread. Just as Yun Chujio was complaining, Bai Mantu woke up. He picked up his sword and rushed towards Yun Chujio. Stupid girl, I'm going to kill you. If you don't want that weak water, you can kill me. I don't care, Yun Chujio said lightly. Bai Mantu heard weak water and stopped in his tracks. Stupid girl, give me weak water immediately and they'll let you go. Pretend this never happened. Yun Chujio thought to herself, I want to return it to you, but that damned Go Weiba won't spit out Roa Shui again. However, in order to escape, she still had to deal with this Bai Mantu. Bai Mantu, I can hand over Roa Shui to you, but before that, I have a question. Tell me, are you stupid to the core? Why did you build the palace under the river? It's fine if you built it under the river, but don't you know how to set up some powerful array formation to protect the palace? Besides, as a Qi Ling, are you afraid of those aquatic demon beasts? Aren't you a little too useless? Yun Chujiu said disdainfully. What do you know? I'm not afraid of them. I just like peace and quiet, hmph. Besides, since there's such a good barrier, why do I need to waste my energy to deal with them? Cut the crap and hand over Ruo Shui quickly, or I'll kill you. If you let me go, I'll hand Ruo Shui over to you. Otherwise, you won't be able to get Ruo Shui, Yun Chujiu said lightly. No. Hand over Ruo Shui first, then I'll let you go. Otherwise, what if you lie to me? The white steamed bun rolled its eyes. Trying to lie to me? No way. Yun Chujiu glanced at it. I can swear on my inner demon oath. Heaven above, if Bai Mantu lets me go, if I don't hand over Ruo Shui to Bai Mantu, I will be struck by heavenly lightning for 10 hours without rest. Is this all right? Bai Mantu thought to itself, with the inner demon oath, it was not afraid that the brat would go back on her words. It was fine to let her go. Therefore, Bai Mantu opened the cage and removed the rope from Yun Chujiu's body. Yun Chujiu realized that her spiritual power had recovered, and a cunning look appeared in her eyes. Bai Mantu, it's time for us to settle the score. Stupid girl, I've already let you go. You can leave Ruo Shui to me. Leave it to you. Leave it to your big head. You damn Bai Mantu, how dare you tie me up with the rope and lock me in the cage? You even pointed your sword at me. I'll beat you to death. I'll turn you into a white pancake. Yun Chujiu took out a rolling pin and smashed it at Bai Mantu. Bai Mantu did not expect Yun Chujiu to smash it without saying a word. She was hit by the rolling pin and was instantly smashed into a white pancake. Stop. Stop. Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning? Bai Mantu shouted in exasperation. Yun Chujiu smashed the rolling pin down again. I'm sorry, I'm really not afraid of being struck by lightning. If you have the ability, let lightning strike me. Bai Mantu was so angry that he almost fainted. You're talking nonsense. How can you not be afraid of being struck by lightning? Believe it or not. Anyway, I'll kill you first. Yun Chujiu smashed the rolling pin down again. Although Bai Mantu did not believe that Yun Chujiu was really not afraid of being struck by lightning, in order to save her life. It shouted, Stop. Stop. If you don't stop, I'll trap all of you in this great wilderness mystic realm and sink into the void with me. Yun Chujiu put away the rolling pin when she heard Bai Mantu. She was not afraid of the threat of Bai Mantu, but she was more interested in the so-called sinking into the void. Chapter 1351, Bai Mantu, what do you mean by sinking into the void? Yun Chujiu asked in confusion. Bai Mantu thought that Yun Chujiu was afraid, and his body swelled up into a white mantu again. He said proudly, sinking into the void means that you don't belong to any spacetime, nor do you belong to any world. Do you know fear now? Humph. You want to fight with me? Hurry up and hand over Ruo Shui. Otherwise, you'll never be able to get out. Hearing this, Yun Chujiu finally dispelled the doubts in her heart. No wonder after some secret realms or divine artifacts disappeared, it was hard to find anyone. It turned out that they were not in the same world at all. Seeing that Yun Chujiu was silent, Bai Mantu shouted arrogantly, Hey! Stinky girl! Did you hear what my Qi Ling said? Hurry up and hand over Ruo Shui, or else. Yun Chujiu once again smashed Bai Mantu into a white pancake with a rolling pin. Bai Mantu, I'll tell you the truth. You don't even have Ruo Shui gate. Hurry up and send me out, or else I'll smash your palace into pieces. You don't have to think of trapping me in the grand desolate realm. Anyway, I know that your palace is at the bottom of the river. When the time comes, it'll bring some people to turn your palace into ruins. If you don't believe me, let's try it. Bai Mantu rolled its eyes in anger and actually fainted again. Yun Chujio poked Bai Mantu with a rolling pin. Seeing that it had really fainted, the fellow began to search the palace. Unfortunately, there was nothing in the palace except for the bluestone and the walls. Yun Chujio was so angry that she put the cage that locked her into her storage ring. She could not return empty-handed anyway. Just as Yun Chujio put the cage into her storage ring, Bai Mantu woke up. Bai Mantu had already confirmed one thing with extreme sadness. Ruo Shui wouldn't be coming back. This stupid girl was too cunning. However, in my territory, wouldn't it be easy for me to take care of you? Let's wait and see. Therefore, Bai Mantu said helplessly, all right, since things have come to this, I won't make things difficult for you. I'll send you out now. Yun Chujio sneered in her heart. This Bai Mantu definitely had no good intentions. However, was he trying to trick her? At worst, she would activate her identity jade token and go out. Bai Mantu formed a hand seal with both of his hands, and Yun Chujio disappeared from where she was. Then, when he turned around, he realized that the cage was gone. He was so angry that he stomped his feet. Shameless! Shameless! He actually stole my heaven imprisoning cage in front of me. It's really too detestable. But, little girl, you will definitely die in this great wilderness mystic realm. When that time comes, everything on you will be mine. Humph. When Yun Chujio saw the scene in front of her, she knew what Bai Mantu was planning. So he wanted her to be eaten by the demon beast. TSK, how sinister. He was just short of sending her directly into the demon beast's mouth. Yun Chujio was currently in a cave. On the ground was the corpse of a wild unicorn bull, surrounded by 5 level 26 wild wolves. These 5 wild wolves were originally tearing up the beef on the ground. They did not expect that a human girl would appear out of nowhere while they were eating. They were also a little dumbfounded. Hence, the 5 wolves and Yun Chujio stared at each other and did not move for a moment. Yun Chujio stretched out her claws and waved them. Hey, are you eating? Continue eating, I'm leaving. I'll never see you again. After Yun Chujio said that, she jumped over the head of a wild wolf. Only then did the 5 wild wolves come to their senses and pounced on Yun Chujio while howling. Chapter 1352, A bunch of little pigs. Yun Chujio ran wildly, and the 5 wild wolves chased after her. It would be a great shame if the meat that was delivered to her ran away. Hey! Don't you have food? Why are you chasing me? I don't have 2 tails of meat on me. Yun Chujio shouted as she ran. The 5 wild wolves did not care how much meat she had. Even if it was not for the appetite, they would eat this human girl for the sake of the wolf's dignity. The speed of the wild wolves was much faster than Yun Chujio's speed. They caught up very quickly. Yun Chujio could not help but complain. As expected, 2-legged ones could not run as fast as 4-legged ones. Yun Chujio was once again surrounded by the 5 wild wolves. Yun Chujio bared her little white teeth at them. Puppies, how about we make a deal? Just as Yun Chujio was about to deceive them, the 5 wild wolves rushed up. Fuck. They were indeed unevolved demonic beasts. They had no manners at all. Yun Chujio had no choice but to activate her defensive spirit tool and release several piglets of spiritual power to charge at the 5 wild wolves. The 5 wild wolves were actually scared silly for a moment. What was going on with this group of piglets? To be exact, what the hell were these piglets? Didn't they say that only one high-level physical transformation technique could be released? How could she release a bunch of them? Besides, wasn't she at the 5th level of the spirit sect? How could she know high-level materialized spell? However, the wild wolf was clearly not as stubborn as the wild ox. This thought only lasted for a moment before it joined the battle. Although the spiritual power piglets were smart, they would be scattered by the wild wolf's claws. Yun Chujio could only keep releasing the piglets, occasionally mixed with small purple needles. Even so, in less than 15 minutes, Yun Chujio was completely at a disadvantage. Moreover, the little piglets required more spiritual power than the small purple needles. Although Yun Chujio's spiritual power was very abnormal, there was a limit to it. If she continued to waste her spiritual power like this, she would be in deep trouble. Yun Chujio gritted her teeth. If she really couldn't do it, she could only activate her identity jade token. Nothing was more important than her life. Therefore, she took out her identity jade token, and then sadly found that the identity jade token had lost its effect. Damn! This must be the work of Baimantu. Yun Chujio's forehead was covered in sweat. She could still rely on her defensive spirit tool to support herself. However, she would eventually run out of it. What should she do? What should she do? The three little ones in the spirit beast bag took the initiative to ask for help. Yun Chujio quickly took out Xiao He, Xiao Hong, and Xiao Hanio. As for Xiao He, she would forget about it. When the time came, she would have to save it. Yun Chujio did not let the little black bird use the curse spell. It was a life-saving method, and she could not use it unless she had no other choice. With the help of the two little ones, Yun Chujio held on for a while. But soon, the two little ones were injured, so Yun Chujio had to put them away. The 5 wild wolves were also very anxious. The little girl, who they thought was easy to deal with, had actually not been able to eat for more than an hour. It was a great humiliation. The 5 wild wolves intensified their attacks, continuously using their sharp claws and sharp teeth to attack Yun Chujio's defensive barrier. Yun Chujio's defensive spirit tool was constantly being shattered, causing Yun Chujio's heart to ache. Master, don't you have puppet number 1? Use puppet number 1 to try. Xiao Hanio said when she saw puppet number 1 in the spirit beast bag. Yun Chujio's eyes lit up. Yes, how could I forget this good thing? Chapter 1353, The Valiant Puppet Number 1. Yun Chujio quickly took out puppet number 1 and placed a few supreme-grade spirit stones before giving the order to kill these savage wolves. Puppet number 1 immediately rushed out of the defensive barrier and charged towards a savage wolf. That savage wolf was scared silly. What the hell was this? Obviously, it had never seen anything like a puppet before. When it saw puppet number 1 charging over, it could only use its claws to grab puppet number 1. It did not expect that puppet number 1 was refined iron. Its hooves clawed at it, only a faint scratch was left. Puppet number 1 kicked the savage wolf's head. The savage wolf was also shocked for a moment. It did not dodge and was kicked directly by puppet number 1. It screamed and fainted. Number 1, hurry up and deal with the other wild wolves. Leave this one to me. Yun Chujio said excitedly. I am good at this kind of backstabbing. After puppet number 1 received the order, it rushed to the other 4 wild wolves. The 4 wild wolves were stunned and confused. This damn thing was too powerful. It defeated their companion in one move. The 4 wild wolves gave up on attacking Yun Chujio and started to attack puppet number 1. In fact, puppet number 1 was not that strong. It was just that the wild wolf from before was a little stunned, which was why puppet number 1 managed to kill it in one move. However, puppet number 1 had one advantage, and that was its strong resistance to attacks. It was made of refined iron, so the claws and teeth of the wild wolf could only deal limited damage to it. Yun Chujio could actually use this time to escape, but this fellow was unwilling to abandon puppet number 1, so after killing the savage wolf, it also joined the battle. This fellow was extremely regretful now. If she had known earlier, she would not have refined puppet number two's gigolo. If she had refined puppet number 2 into the same as puppet number 1, wouldn't she have been much more relaxed now? Yun Chujio had decided that she would refine 180 puppets when she returned. At that time, whoever dared to provoke her, she would let the puppets torture them to death. Yes, that was what she would do. 2 hours later, Yun Chujio finally killed the remaining 4 wild wolves at a heavy price. She had lost more than half of her defensive spiritual artifacts, and puppet number 1's joints were also severely damaged by the wild wolves. Although puppet number 1's entire body was refined from fine iron, its joints were much weaker compared to other parts. If the damage was serious, it would affect its movement. After Yun Chujio put away the 5 wild wolves' corpses, she forced herself to leave, afraid that the smell of blood would attract other demon beasts. The white steamed bun in the underground palace was so angry that he gritted his teeth. How could he escape like this? This is fucking sick. Girl, you wait, this is only the beginning, I must let you die a complete corpse. Yun Chujio, forced to run a distance, leaned against a tree, began to pant, Emma, damn the white steamed bread. You want to kill her? No way. Before Yun Chujio could catch her breath, she saw 2 26-level wild fire tigers rushing towards her. Yun Chujio almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Lai Yen, you are ruthless. We are not afraid of settling scores. Just you wait. Stop. I have something to say to you. Yun Chujio shouted. The 2 wild fire tigers were actually frightened by Lai Yan's shout. They stopped and stared at Yun Chujio with their huge eyes, wanting to hear what she had to say. Chapter 1354 deceived the 2 tigers, and Yun Chujio saw that the 2 wildfire tigers were really standing still. She let out a sigh of relief. It seemed that these 2 wildfire tigers were more curious than the 5 wolves from before. She had to think of a way to stall for time. Lai Yen and Lai Yen had been waiting for a long time, otherwise, with her current physical strength, there was no way for her to escape. Lord Tigers, I am definitely not your match. Let me live a little longer. I will tell you something strange. You will definitely be very interested in it. It is about the weapon spirit of this great wilderness mystic realm, Yun Chujio said mysteriously. Lai Yen and Lai Yen were indeed very interested. They cried out twice and signaled Yun Chujio to continue. You must know that there is a very wide poisonous river in this great wilderness mystical realm, right? No matter what kind of animal falls into it, it will be corroded clean. TSK, it's really too scary. Lai Yen and Lai Yen nodded. It was obvious that they knew about the poisonous river. My lords, to be honest, although my spiritual power is very weak, I am the kindest person. I think this poisonous river is too dangerous. If this river is not poisonous, my lords, can you go to the river to play? Can you get a few demon beasts in the water to quench your thirst? Lai Yen and Yun Chujio could not help but reveal yearning expressions. Although there were several other sources of water in this secret realm, none of them could compare to the river. It would be great if the river was not poisonous. Yun Chujio saw that the 2 wild fire tigers were fantasizing about a beautiful vision, so she decided not to continue talking. She quietly adjusted her breath and tried to recover some of her physical strength and spiritual power. The 2 wild fire tigers fantasized about a beautiful vision for a while. Seeing that Yun Chujio did not continue talking, they roared in displeasure. I saw that the poisonous river was so harmful to the beast. Out of righteous indignation, I decided to eliminate the beast. Coincidentally, I have a treasure that can absorb all the toxins, so I took out the treasure and absorbed all the toxins in the river. Now, the river has become non-toxic. The 2 wild fire tigers roared angrily. Clearly, they thought that Yun Chujio was talking nonsense. Lai Yen was lying. Yun Chujio quickly said, Lord Tiger, how would I dare to lie to you? If you don't believe me, you can go and take a look. Moreover, Lord Tiger, this is a once-in-lifetime opportunity. Right now, in the great wilderness mystic realm, besides me and Qi Ling, only the two of you know this news. You can occupy an advantageous position on the side of the river. When that time comes, there will be countless demonic beasts coming to the river to drink. Are you still worried about the food problem? Too savage fierce tiger some heart is moved, but this smelly wench can be in Lai Yen them. Yun Chujio saw the hesitation of the two wildfire tigers, Lai Yen, so he said, "Two tiger sirs, I am so weak, are you still afraid that I will run away? If I really can't, I will go with you. If I lie to you, you will eat me." The two wildfire tigers roared at each other. It was obvious that they were discussing. Lai Yen and Yun Chujio looked at each other. The river was obviously very attractive to them. Therefore, they roared at Yun Chujio a few times, indicating that they should go with them. Therefore, Yun Chujio was sandwiched between the two wildfire tigers, one in front and one behind, and they walked towards the direction of the river. Yun Chujio was secretly happy. It was all thanks to these two stupid tigers. Otherwise, she would have really found the direction of the river. White steamed bun, how dare you lie to me? See how I retaliate against you. Chapter 1355 Riding a Tiger to Take Revenge. Lord Tigers, I only said half of what I said just now. Now, I'm going to tell you, do you know where the poison from the river came from? The two wildfire tigers shook their heads. They thought to themselves, of course we don't know. Fuck, if we know who did this, well kill him. Lai Yen, do you know where the poison came from? Sigh, actually, I didn't expect this either. But when I absorbed all the poison and wanted to cross the river, I was sucked into a palace by a huge suction force. Ouch! Why did my legs suddenly run out of strength? Lord Tigers, please wait for me to rest for a while. Let's continue walking. Yun Chujio staggered and sat on the ground. The two wildfire tigers were engrossed in listening and scratching their ears and cheeks to see if the river was really free of poison. When they saw Yun Chujio's reaction, they roared angrily. Lai Yen. Yun Chujio frowned and said, "My two lords, I really don't have any strength left." Why don't I lick my face and sit on the back of one of you? Forget it, I know that this request is too much. Let's wait for me to recover from this. One of the wild raging flame tigers impatiently roared a few times before lying down on the ground. Lai Yan's face was filled with disbelief. Yun Chujio's face revealed an expression of disbelief. Lord Tiger, you really agreed? Heavens, you are simply the wisest and most unrestrained demon beast that I have ever seen. Then I will boldly go up. Yun Chujio climbed onto the back of Lai Yan's tiger. A trace of pride flashed across her eyes. Little fellow, with just my mouth, not only did I save my life, I even got a free mount. I have to admire myself. Lai Yen and Lai Yen continued to walk forward. Yun Chujio continued, when I regained consciousness, I actually found a tool spirit that looked like a white steamed bun standing in front of me. It opened its mouth and threatened me to hand over some weak water. It turns out that the reason why the river is poisonous is that the tool spirit added weak water into the river. Don't you think this tool spirit deserves to die? The two wildfire tigers stopped in their tracks in shock. What? Lai Yen. The poison in the river water was actually released by the Qi Ling. What was it for? Lord Tigers, continue walking. Let's talk as we walk. After hearing what Bai Mantis said, I immediately rebuked him angrily. What he did was simply letting down the Qi Ling's reputation. As a Qi Ling, he should be seeking benefits for the demonic beasts in the great desolate realm. He actually poisoned the entire river in order to not be disturbed. Such a black-hearted Qi Ling really deserves to be killed. Two savage Lai Yen tiger listened to the frequent nod. The little girl is right, this Qi Ling is really too shameless, too wicked. At first, I wanted to just beat the Qi Ling to death, but I thought that if the Qi Ling died, the great wilderness would be in chaos, so I didn't kill it, just gave it a little lesson. Never thought that this shameless Qi Ling pretended to repent, but took advantage of my slack time, that treasure deceived away, but also sent me out, said to let the demon beast eat me. Do you think that white steamed bun is too shameless, too wicked? Yun Chujio said angrily. Two wildfire tiger angry roar, also did not think of the hole in the words of Yun Chujio, immediately carry Yun Chujio to Lai Yen. The white steamed bun in the underground palace thought that Yun Chujio was dead for sure, so he just took a nap for a while, and now that he saw it, he was so surprised that his eyeballs almost fell off. What was going on? Not only did the smelly girl not die, she even rode Lai Yen towards the river. Was his vision blurred, or did Lai Yen go crazy? Chapter 1356. Bai Mantu's vicious scheme. Bai Mantu was so angry that he was jumping up and down. What the fuck? Lai Yen, you're a level 26 demonic beast. How dare you let that smelly girl ride on you? Are you a bitch? What did that smelly girl come for? Could she be here for revenge? Bai Mantu nervously continued to look outside. Yun Chujio sat on the back of Lai Yen, feeling very pleased. She felt that it was necessary to let the 3.5-tailed red fox eat some meat so that it would grow bigger. This way, she could ride it around in the future. Let's hope this thing gets a little bigger with its fourth tail. An hour later, the wildfire tiger carried Yun Chujio to Lai Yen on the river. It just so happened that Yun Chujio drank a stomach of venom. Two savage Lai Yen tiger walked to the river bank. See the river water, there are some small fish and shrimp, suddenly surprised, stunned. Heavens! What the little girl said was actually true. The poison in the river was really gone. Yun Chujio jumped off the tiger's back. Lord Tigers, I didn't lie to you, did I? The poison in the river was really absorbed by my treasure. Look, this stone tablet was erected by me. The two wildfire tigers followed the direction Yun Chujio pointed and indeed saw a stone tablet. It seemed that the little girl really did not lie to them. The two wildfire tigers roared at each other. It was obvious that they were discussing how to deal with Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and said, Sir Tigers, you can continue your work. I will go to the river to seek revenge from that damned weapon spirit. After saying that, Yun Chujio jumped into the river. The two wildfire tigers did not make up their minds to eat her. When they saw that she had jumped into the river, they did not chase after her. Instead, they began to look for a favorable terrain and prepared to settle down here. After Yun Chujio activated the water repellent bead, she began to search for the location of the weapon spirit's palace on the riverbed. When Bai Mantu saw that Yun Chujio was really going to take revenge on him, cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He had to think of a way to prevent her from finding his hiding place. Bai Mantu's eyes suddenly lit up. Humph, I'm the boss of my territory. Watch how I torture you. Yun Chujio was searching the riverbed when she suddenly felt a strong suction force. Yun Chujio knew that this was definitely caused by Bai Mantu, so she did not resist. She just happened to find Bai Mantu and teach it a good lesson. Yun Chujio had just opened her eyes when she saw Bai Mantu give a sinister smile. Then, a white light flashed in front of Yun Chujio's eyes again. Yun Chujio immediately understood what Bai Mantu was planning. This guy was planning to teleport her to the mouth of some demon beast. Damn it! Bai Mantu, just you wait, I will come back. When Yun Chujio opened her eyes, she found that she was stuck on a huge net. In the distance, there was a wild golden-back poisonous spider that was quickly crawling towards her. Yun Chujio was shocked at first, then she laughed out loud. When Bai Mantu saw Yun Chujio, not only was she not shocked, she even laughed out loud. It thought that the stupid girl must have been scared crazy. HMPH, how dare you offend me, I will torture you to death. Just as Bai Mantu was feeling smug, something that it would never forget for the rest of its life happened. When Yun Chujio saw the wild golden-back poisonous spider crawling over, she unhurriedly summoned the ball of yarn. When the ball of yarn saw the huge sticky silk net and the wild golden-back poisonous spider crawling over, it was so happy that it could not close its mouth. I was just worried that I didn't have enough sticky silk to knit a sweater. I didn't expect someone to come to me voluntarily. This is great. Chapter 1357. The baby loved it the most. The savage golden-backed poison spider was preparing to have a good meal when a ball of yarn popped out of nowhere. The eyes above its head revealed a cold and gloomy light. It ate the ball of yarn first. Thus, the savage golden-backed poison spider shot out a bunch of poisonous sticky silk towards the ball of yarn. What it didn't expect was that after the ball of yarn grabbed the sticky silk with its small claws, it began to wrap the ball of yarn. While wrapping it, it said, "TSK TSK, the quality of the sticky silk of this high-level demon beast is really good. When I go back, I'll throw away the original 6-piece sweater set and knit a new one." The savage golden-back poison spider was dumbfounded. What was it talking about? What did its sticky silk have to do with the 6-piece sweater set? Moreover, its sticky silk was extremely poisonous. Why was the ball of yarn unharmed even when it was pulled with its claws? The wild gold-backed poisonous spider quickly sensed that something was wrong. The sticky silk was continuously being extracted by the ball of thread. The sticky silk in the poison silk sac was almost completely extracted by the ball of thread. It decided to crawl over and eat the ball of thread. The wild gold-backed poisonous spider had just taken a few steps forward when several small purple needles shot towards its eyes. The wild gold-backed poisonous spider hurriedly tried to dodge. Yun Chujio curled her lips and started to release the pigs. Several piglets with spiritual power rushed towards the wild gold-backed poisonous spider. The wild gold-backed poisonous spider was scared silly. A group of piglets? Just as it was in a daze, one of the piglets with spiritual power bit down on its eyes above its head. The wild gold-backed poisonous spider screamed in pain. Its biggest attack weapon was the poisonous silk. However, the poisonous silk was constantly extracted by the ball of yarn and its body was attacked by the piglets with spiritual power. It quickly bit off the poisonous silk with its teeth and turned around to run. Damn it, where did this group of monsters come from? It could not defeat them, so it was more important to save its life. It was better to run first. Mao Qiu saw that the savage golden-back poison spider was about to run, so it immediately became anxious. "Master, quickly stop this ugly monster. I want its sticky thread." Yun Chujio had no choice but to keep releasing the spiritual energy little pigs. She directed the spiritual energy little pigs to form a pig wall, blocking the way of the savage golden-back poison spider. The wild gold-backed poison spider was about to cry. "I was about to fucking run away, but you guys still refuse to let me go. You guys are really bullying the spider. Since that's the case, I'll fight it out with you guys." The wild gold-backed poison spider shot out poisonous threads to attack the little piglets of spiritual power. Mao Qiu immediately jumped up and excitedly extracted the poisonous threads. He even kept saying, "Come. Come. You shoot more poisonous threads. This baby loves it." 15 minutes later, the wild gold-backed poisonous spider died. It was unknown whether it was bitten to death by the spiritual power piglet or angered to death by the ball of yarn. When Bai Mantu saw that the wild gold-backed poisonous spider had died so easily, he could not believe his eyes. He was so angry that he jumped around the room. How was this possible? Why was that ball of yarn not afraid of the poisonous threads? Bai Mantu gritted his teeth. "Stupid girl, I don't believe that you are so lucky every time. HMPH, let's see what you will do next. You are now in the most dangerous forest of the great wilderness mystic realm. You will definitely die without a complete corpse. Yun Chujio was saved by the ball of yarn from the poisonous thread. She found that this was a dense forest with thick fallen leaves on the ground. Yun Chujio recalled the poison ivy forest she had encountered before and did not jump onto the ground directly. Instead, she threw a few stones onto the fallen leaves. There was nothing unusual, so Yun Chujio jumped onto the ground. Yun Chujio chose a direction and carefully walked forward. After walking for a while, Yun Chujio smelled a strange fragrance and was delighted. Could it be that there was a high-grade spirit herb? However, she also knew that there were demon beasts guarding the high-grade spirit herb nearby, so she carefully went over. After 15 minutes, Yun Chujio found the source of the strange fragrance. It was actually a large colorful mushroom. Chapter 1358 Seven-colored snake mushroom. As the saying goes, the brighter the color of the mushroom, the more poisonous it is. The color of these mushrooms is comparable to the color of the rainbow. One can imagine how poisonous they are. The strange grass in Yun Chujio's dantian immediately clamored to eat the mushrooms. Yun Chujio could not help but curse in her heart. Damn it, she only knew how to eat and eat in one day. She was a Guai Chow. However, compared to drinking the poisonous river water, Yun Chujio felt that eating these poisonous mushrooms was still acceptable. This fellow would not admit it. In fact, when she smelled the strange fragrance, she was also a little greedy. Since these were poisonous mushrooms, there should not be any guardian beasts. However, to be on the safe side, Yun Chujio still threw a few small stones to test the waters. After seeing that there was nothing unusual, she moved closer. She used the large kitchen knife to chop off a mushroom and started to chew on it. Needless to say, this poisonous mushroom tasted fresh and sweet. It actually had a different taste. After eating a few large mushrooms, Yun Chujio started to sweep the area. She used the large kitchen knife to chop off all the large mushrooms. After chopping off all the large mushrooms, she also dug up a few small mushrooms, preparing to plant them in a suitable place to eat them later. Xiao Mogu was quite conscientious and did not kill all of them. He left the roots of the large mushrooms and some small mushrooms behind so that they could continue to reproduce in the future. Just as Yun Chujio was feeling satisfied, she heard a noise from underground. She was so frightened that she immediately jumped onto a large tree next to her. Suddenly, dozens of colorful vipers crawled out from underground. When Yun Chujio saw these vipers, she suddenly remembered the names of these mushrooms. These colorful mushrooms were called seven-colored snake mushrooms. The reason why they were called seven-colored snake mushrooms was because these mushrooms were cultivated with the venom of the level 26 Desolation seven-colored striped snake. The seven-colored striped snake cultivated these seven-colored snake mushrooms for its own consumption and for the purpose of trapping its prey. The demon beasts were attracted by the strange fragrance of these mushrooms. Once they got close to this place, the Desolation seven-colored striped snake would be able to enjoy a good meal. Originally, Yun Chujio would have discovered these mushrooms once she got close to them. However, today was the day when the small snakes hatched, so the big snakes were waiting for the young snakes to hatch in the underground nest. Therefore, Yun Chujio took advantage of this opportunity. It almost destroyed their thousands of years of hard work. One could imagine how furious the snakes were. The snakes soon discovered Yun Chujio on the tree. A few wild seven-colored striped snakes climbed up the tree trunk. Yun Chujio was so scared that she cried out repeatedly, "Io, it's not weird if you don't know. I didn't know this was your private land either. Besides, didn't I not kill all of them? In a few years, these mushrooms will grow again." The snakes were so angry that they were half dead. It was easy for them to say that. In a few years, a few decades wouldn't be able to grow to the same size as before. The detestable little girl must be killed today. Of course, Yun Chujio would not sit still and wait for her death. She used the sticky silk to swing onto another tree. Just as she was feeling proud of herself, something unexpected happened. The wild 7-colored striped snakes also jumped onto this tree. That's right, they really did jump. The abdomen of these wild 7-colored striped snakes was different from other snakes. They actually had 4 short claws, but they were too short. Yun Chuzhou didn't see it just now. This guy immediately panicked. He thought that he could escape from the snakes by relying on the sticky wires, but he didn't expect these damn snakes to jump. This time, it really took her life. These wild 7-colored striped snakes not only knew how to jump, but they were also very cunning. Yun Chuzhou quickly discovered their intention. They actually climbed onto the trees around Yun Chuzhou, trying to cut off all of Yun Chuzhou's paths. Chapter 1359, Strike the Snake at its 7 inches. Yun Chuzhou's heart tightened. What should she do? Although she was not afraid of their venom, she could not stand being bitten. At this moment, a wild 7-colored striped snake leaped onto the tree where Yun Chuzhou was and quickly crawled towards the branch where Yun Chuzhou was. Yun Chuzhou aimed several purple needles at its eyes and 7 inches. The wild 7-colored striped snake nimbly dodged Yun Chuzhou's attack and shot out a stream of venom at Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou only slightly avoided her face. As for the rest of the area, if you want to spit it out, just spit it out. Although it was a little disgusting, it wouldn't do anything. Seeing that Yun Chuzhou wasn't afraid of its venom, the wild 7-colored striped snake climbed up even faster and spat out its bright red tongue, wanting to swallow Yun Chuzhou into its stomach. Yun Chuzhou raised her hand, and a small pig of spiritual power pounced at the wild 7-colored striped snake, biting on the 7 inches of the wild 7-colored striped snake. The wild 7-colored striped snake was so scared that it quickly twisted its body. It wanted to shake the small pig of spiritual power down, but the small pig of spiritual power firmly grabbed the snake's skin and bit the 7 inches of the wild 7-colored striped snake. The wild 7-colored striped snake immediately fell off the tree trunk in pain. Yun Chuzhou was overjoyed. She did not expect that the small pig of spiritual power was very good at dealing with poisonous snakes. However, she was obviously happy too early. The wild 7-colored striped snake just now was just too careless. The other wild 7-colored striped snakes had learned their lesson. When Yun Chuzhou released the spiritual energy piglet again, they directly used their venom or tails to disperse the spiritual energy piglet. The spiritual energy piglet had no chance to bite their 7 inches. Yun Chuzhou's heart sank to the bottom of the valley again. She gritted her teeth and simply jumped onto the ground. She held up the spiritual power barrier and ran fiercely. The snake swarm was chasing closely behind her. The forest was densely packed with trees. How could Yun Chuzhou escape from those poisonous snakes? Very soon, she was surrounded by the poisonous snakes in the middle. Yun Chuzhou cursed in her heart. Damn it, if it weren't for the fact that she couldn't use the talisman here. I could blow you all into pieces in a minute. Yun Chuzhou had no choice but to activate all her defensive spirit tools and fight the snakes head-on. Although Yun Chuzhou had killed and injured a few snakes with the help of the little pig and the small purple needle, it was still a drop in the bucket. There were still dozens of wild 7-colored striped snakes crazily attacking Yun Chuzhou's defensive barrier. Yun Chuzhou had no choice but to release puppet number 1, who was severely injured. The snakes were shocked by the sudden appearance of puppet number 1 and sprayed a large amount of venom at puppet number 1, however, the venom did not harm puppet number 1 at all. 2 sharp forks popped out from puppet number 1's arms and it began to kill the snakes with both hands. Puppet number 1 specialized in attacking the 7-inch and 7-inch eyes of the wild rainbow-striped snake. The effect was quite remarkable. Yun Chuzhou was so happy that she almost clapped her hands and cheered. However, this fellow knew that the most important thing now was to escape. Although he was reluctant to part with puppet number 1, he could not care less about his life and ran away. Seeing that Yun Chuzhou was going to run away, the snakes were unwilling to give up. Some of them stayed to attack puppet number 1, but most of them still chased after Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chujio mumbled as she ran. Damn it! Didn't I just pluck some of your mushrooms? Do you have to be so stubborn? If you provoke me, I will burn all your mushrooms to death. Yun Chujio's heart skipped a beat when she said this. Yes. These snakes cared about their mushrooms the most. She might as well use this as a threat to see if these snakes would still dare to show off. Chapter 1360, Puppet Number 2. Thinking of this, Yun Chujio dashed toward the place where the colorful snake mushrooms grew. When she reached the place, Yun Chujio struck a tree next to her with lightning, and a burnt mark immediately appeared on the tree trunk. Little loaches. I'm warning you. If you dare to come any closer, I will completely destroy your mushrooms. I will make sure that you will never see these mushrooms again for the rest of your lives, Yun Chujio said arrogantly while setting up a defensive barrier. The snakes hissed and hissed angrily. It was obvious that they were about to explode from anger. However, looking at the scorched marks on the tree, if the smelly girl really wanted to fight to the death, she would really destroy the mushrooms. In that case, their gains would not make up for their losses. The snakes did not dare to go forward and attack. Yun Chujio also did not dare to really destroy the mushrooms. The two sides were in a stalemate. Yun Chujio raised her spiritual energy barrier and simply took out her weapon refining furnace to start making puppets. Damn it. Anyway, she still had a ready-made puppet disc in her storage ring. After she finished making puppet number 2, she would kill these damn snakes. The snakes didn't know what Yun Chujio was going to do, so they didn't dare to attack recklessly. They were afraid that Yun Chujio would really destroy the mushroom field. At this moment, the other half of the snakes crawled back. Yun Chujio's heart sank. She didn't know how puppet number 1 was doing. Since the snakes had come back, puppet number 1 was either destroyed or had run out of spiritual stones. Although puppet number 1 was just a dead object, Yun Chujio still couldn't bear to part with a trace of Yun Chujio's spiritual sense on the puppet disc. Forget it. She would solve the current situation first and then go check it out. Yun Chujio had been in a stalemate with the snakes for 6 hours. The snakes couldn't hold it in any longer. A wild 7-colored striped snake shot a stream of venom at Yun Chujio's defensive barrier. Yun Chujio's eyes darkened. She waved her hand. Katja directly cut the roots of a large mushroom into charcoal. I'm warning you. I'm not playing around with you. If you attack me, I'll destroy a mushroom. If you don't believe me, try me. Yun Chujio's lightning strike immediately shocked the snakes. The snakes did not dare to attack Yun Chujio anymore. They hissed and hissed their tongues as they discussed what to do. Yun Chujio tightened her hands. Fortunately, she had a puppet disc ready. After the puppet was completed, Yun Chujio placed the puppet disc inside and placed a few supreme-grade spirit stones on it. Then, the iron puppet opened its eyes. Puppet 2 is complete. At this time, the snakes also came up with a strategy. They surrounded Yun Chujio layer by layer, so that even if Yun Chujio used lightning, it would only hit them, not the mushrooms. Yun Chujio also do not and they ink, directly release puppet number 2, and then release 3 half-Shao Hong red fox. Let it immediately began to howl. The 3-tailed and half-small red fox immediately began to howl. Yun Chujio took advantage of the time when the snakes were in a daze to release several piglets of spiritual power. These piglets of spiritual power went straight for the 7 inches of the snakes. As the snakes were affected by the cries of the 3-tailed and half-small red fox, their reactions were slow by half a beat. Immediately, a few piglets of spiritual power succeeded in killing Shao Hong. Yun Chujio's spirits were greatly boosted. Killing one would result in 1 less piglet. It was just that puppet number 2 was too thin. It would be great if puppet number 1 could come back. Yun Chujio's eyes lit up. She took out Xiao He and gave it a few instructions. Then, Xiao He burrowed into the ground and disappeared. Yun Chujia's original intention was to let Xiao Hei find puppet number 1. If puppet number 1 ran out of spirit stones, she would let Xiao Hei put on top-grade spirit stones so that puppet number 1 could come back and participate in the battle. Unexpectedly, Xiao Hei made an unexpected discovery. Chapter 1361, What else can we do, Master? I've found the nest of those snakes. There are some small snakes that have just broken out of their shells. Xiao Hei sent back a message with its spiritual sense. Xiao Hei, get me a few small snakes. They have to be alive. Be careful, don't kill them. Yun Chujia's eyes lit up. Although this matter was a little despicable, there was nothing she could do in order to survive. Not long after, Xiao Hei returned with a string of small snakes on its claws. These small snakes were just born and could not spray venom, so the little black rats were not afraid of them at all. When the snakes saw the small snakes, they immediately became extremely angry. They hissed and stuck out their tongues, crazily attacking Yun Chujia's defensive barrier. If you want to kill these little things, you can continue to attack. Yun Chujio said fiercely. The snake group didn't dare to move. The higher the level of the demon beast, the harder it was to breed. These little snakes were hatched by the snake group after hundreds of years. Naturally, they were extremely precious. I didn't want their little lives. Besides, I didn't know that these mushrooms were your reserve food. As the saying goes, those who don't know won't be blamed. I'll compensate you with some medicinal pills and let these little snakes go. Don't chase me anymore. Let's forget about our grudges. How about it? The snakes were about to collapse. What? What else could they do? You're too despicable. Yun Chujio saw that although the snakes were angry, they didn't attack her anymore. She knew that they agreed, so she threw them a few bottles of super-quality blood coagulation pills and exploding spirit pills. She walked forward with the small snakes in her hands. You can't all follow me. Otherwise, I'll return the small snakes to you. What if you go back on your word? At most, 3 of you can follow me. The rest of you should guard your nest. TSK, I'm not the one who's criticizing you. Are there any parents as incompetent as you? How dare you leave your children in your nest? You've met a kind person like me. If you meet a cruel person, your little babies will all die. The snakes were both ashamed and angry. They hissed and spat their tongues, wishing they could swallow Yun Chujio. However, they had to admit that Yun Chujio was right. They were indeed careless and did not leave a single snake in the nest. The snakes had no choice but to send 3 wild 7-colored striped snakes to continue following Yun Chujio. The rest of the snakes returned to the nest to take care of the remaining small snakes while the rest checked on the condition of the mushrooms. Yun Chujio soon discovered puppet number 1 lying on the ground. Some of the parts had been broken by the tail of the wild 7-colored striped snakes. Yun Chujio put puppet no. 1 into her spirit beast bag and placed the few small snakes on the ground. She ran away quickly. Although the 3 wild 7-colored striped snakes wanted to kill Yun Chujio, they knew that they could not kill Yun Chujio with just the 3 of them. They could only swallow the small snakes on the ground and return to their nest. Yun Chujio was afraid that the snakes would chase after her again. She ran until she felt that the distance was safe. Then, she sat on the ground and panted. Damn it, she was going to die. She always earned something from every trial. This time, other than Guai Chao drinking to her heart's content, she didn't do anything stupid. She even lost a large part of her defensive spiritual artifact. It was really a huge loss. Yun Chujio gritted her teeth. She couldn't just let it go like this. By Mantu, just you wait. I want you to compensate me for the double loss. Bai Mantu sneezed loudly. After checking, she saw that Yun Chujio was still alive. She was so angry that she was jumping around. This stupid girl was too difficult to deal with. Dozens of wild seven-colored striped snakes couldn't even kill her. Chapter 1362 Spirit Energy Piglet Yun Chujio took out some dry rations as she ate. If she wanted to take revenge on Bai Mantu, she had to first leave the forest and then trick a demon beast to lead the way. Only then would she be able to find the Great River. That's right, that's what she should do. However, before that, she had to first repair puppet number 1. Otherwise, if she encountered another demon beast, she would have to expend her defensive spirit tool. Yun Chujio took out puppet number 1 and looked at it. Many parts of it were badly damaged, so it was really difficult to repair it. Seeing that it was already late, Yun Chujio found an empty space and melted puppet number 1 into molten iron. Then, she refined another refined iron puppet. After refining it, she let the 3 little ones take turns to be on guard. Yun Chujio took out her all-purpose tent and lay in it, sleeping soundly. Not long after Yun Chujio fell asleep, Xiao Hei squeaked. Yun Chujio climbed out of the tent and saw blue lights flashing around her. Clearly, there were demon beasts surrounding her. Yun Chujio now had 2 iron puppets in her hands. She had some confidence, so she was not in a hurry to escape. She was ready to see what kind of demon beast it was. A moment later, 3 level 26 savage wind blade wolves walked out of the forest, drooling as they stared at Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio was puzzled. Why did these demonic beasts drool when they saw her? Was she that beautiful? This guy shamelessly praised himself, then said to the 3 savage wind blade wolves, "It's so late at night. Why aren't you sleeping? Get lost." The 3 wild wind blade wolves felt that the little girl was probably not awake and was talking nonsense. Otherwise, she would only dare to talk to them like that unless she was crazy. The 3 wild wind blade wolves roared and stomped on the ground, ready to pounce on Yun Chujio. "Wait. 3 puppies, how about we make a deal?" Yun Chujio said with a smile. 3 puppies? Probably any wolf would be angry after being called a little dog, and these 3 wild wind blade wolves were no exception. They immediately fired several wind blades at Yun Chujio, and Yun Chujio activated her defensive spirit tool while dodging. Her mouth wasn't idle either. "Hey! Don't you know what is polite? I haven't finished speaking, and you are already making a move. How shameless!" The 3 wild wind blade wolves were furious. "We are demonic beasts and you are humans. What business do we have with you? Besides, you are the dog. Your whole family is dogs." Yun Chujio wanted to test the power of the 2 puppets, so she released puppet number 1 and puppet number 2. Number 1, number 2, attack. Beat him up. The 3 wild wind blade wolves were confused. What the hell was this? Puppet number 1 and puppet no. 2 charged at one wild wind blade wolf, while Yun Chujio grinned at the remaining wild wind blade wolf. "Puppy, come here. I'll show you what a gang fight is." The wild wind blade wolf looked around in confusion. There were no other humans. What was this girl talking about? It soon understood what Yun Chujio meant by a group fight. As Yun Chujio waved her hands, several cute little piggies with spiritual power pounced at it. The wild wind blade wolf quickly fired the wind blades to disperse the little piggies with spiritual power. However, unexpectedly, the little piggies swallowed the wind blades and pounced at it even more fiercely. The savage wind blade wolf was so scared that it almost cried. What the hell was this? This was the first time it had seen a materialization spell that could swallow the opponent's spiritual energy. This was too abnormal. Chapter 1363, 3 Useless Fools. The savage wind blade wolf was so frightened that a few piggies jumped onto its body and bit it. The savage wind blade wolf cried out in pain, "Woo woo, I'm not playing anymore. The baby wants to go home. It's too scary. The other two savage wind blade wolves were not any better. Although their spiritual power was superb, they had never seen a puppet before. They did not know where to start, therefore, they were beaten up by puppet number 1 and puppet number 2 until they cried out in pain. Yun Chujio was very satisfied with the combat strength of puppet number 1 and puppet number 2. These things might not be very effective against humans, but they were really too powerful against demonic beasts. The damage of wind blades and fireballs on the puppets was really limited, it was really great. Well, the spiritual power of the piglets was not bad. It seemed that they could not be judged based on their appearance alone. The cute piglets were also very powerful. Seeing that the beating was almost over, Yun Chujio said, "Number 1, number 2, you guys stop first. I will communicate with the 3 little dogs in a friendly manner." The current state of the 3 wild wind blade wolves could be said to be worlds apart from before. Just a moment ago, they were still showing off their arrogance. Now, all of them were grimacing in pain. Their eyes were flickering, and they wanted to take the opportunity to escape. Yun Chujio naturally understood their intentions. She sneered and said, "Don't think about escaping. My 2 puppets won't be tired even if they run for 10 days and 10 nights. Can you do it?" The 3 wild wind blade wolves were instantly discouraged. They would be exhausted in 3 days, let alone 10 days. "Come, let's continue talking about the deal. Don't worry, I'm a very kind person. If you don't agree, I won't let my puppets kill you. At most, they'll cut off your ears and tails, beat you half to death, cut dozens of times on your bodies, and sprinkle some salt on you. That's all." The 3 wild wind blade wolves were on the verge of tears. "If you were to do this, you might as well kill us. How despicable. If we had known that this little girl was so perverted and so despicable, we wouldn't have attacked her. Unfortunately, it was too late to say anything now. We could only listen to what she had to say about the deal. Establish a temporary contract with me and bring me to the poisonous river. As a reward, I'll tell you a secret. Also, after the deed is done, I'll give you some medicinal pills to stop the bleeding and to strengthen your spiritual power. How about it? Isn't it worth it? Hurry up, which one of you 3 will go first? There's a limited number of pills. The one who establishes a contract with me first will get an extra bottle." Yun Chujio revealed a typical wolf grandmother smile. The 3 wild wind blade wolves thought to themselves. Since they couldn't run away anyway, they would have to submit sooner or later. Why not be the first and get an extra bottle of pills? Thus, the 3 useless goods scrambled to establish a temporary contract with Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio pretended to sigh. "I am the most soft-hearted person. Since you are all so enthusiastic, I will give you some more pills. Come, you come first." Yun Chujio pointed at a wild wind blade wolf. That guy immediately took the initiative to establish a spiritual connection with Yun Chujio. After Yun Chujio used the beast controlling technique, the temporary contract was completed. Yun Chujio did the same thing with the other 2 wild wind blade wolves and also established the temporary contract. At this time, the sky was already beginning to brighten. Yun Chujio simply sat on the back of a wild wind blade wolf and let them head to the river. On the way, Yun Chujio repeated the story about Qi Ling. The 3 wild wind blade wolves were also so angry that they gritted their teeth. This Qi Ling was really too vicious. Chapter 1364, The Sinister White Manta. Very soon, Yun Chujio came to the side of the river once again. After Yun Chujio handed the pills to the 3 wild wind blade wolves, she cancelled the temporary contract with them and jumped into the river. The 3 wild wind blade wolves saw that the river water was really free of toxins, so they decided to stay nearby. There would definitely be many demon beasts here to drink water in the future, so they didn't have to worry about not having any meat to eat. After Yun Chujio jumped into the river, she felt that Bai Mantu would definitely do the same thing again, so she rolled her eyes and came up with an idea. As expected, when Yun Chujio was looking for Bai Mantu's palace on the riverbed, a huge suction force was transmitted over, and Yun Chujio was once again transported to Bai Mantu's palace. Just as Bai Mantu was about to form another seal, Yun Chujio threw a bunch of chili noodles at it, and Bai Mantu choked on its tears. Yun Chujio picked up the rolling pin and beat it with it. "You white Mantu! You still want to set me up? I'll beat you to death." Bai Mantu was beaten into a white pancake, and its self-esteem suffered a great blow. Woo woo, it was a tool spirit, and it was the god of this great wilderness mystic realm. How could it be beaten up by this stinky girl again and again? It had no face to live. Of course, Yun Chujio would not really beat Bai Mantu to death. She had almost vented her anger, only then did she coldly say, "Bai Mantu, because of your viciousness, I lost a lot of defensive spiritual artifacts. You must compensate me, or else I will tear down this palace." Bai Mantu said with a sad face, "Little fairy, as you have seen, I am very poor. The only cage was taken away by you last time. I really have nothing left." "Humph. Bai Mantu, do you think I am an idiot? If you cannot satisfy me today, not only will I destroy your palace, I will also throw you in front of those demonic beasts so that they will recognize you, the black-hearted Chi Ling. I believe that they will treat you well." Bai Mantu's face turned even paler. It was simply ghastly pale. It could imagine how those demonic beasts would deal with it if they knew that it had poisoned the river. Moreover, it also believed that Yun Chujio wasn't trying to scare it. This stupid girl was really capable of anything. Bai Mantu was silent for a moment. "Little fairy, I really don't have anything good here. I only have some storage rings that belong to those dead cultivators. If you like them, you can take them." Yun Chujio curled her lips. It was actually the same trick as the radish spirit in the 9 Serenities crypt. No matter what, it was just a little bit. Thus, she said, "All right, bring them out and let me have a look." The white steamed bun took out a bunch of storage rings. After Yun Chujio sent her spiritual sense into them, there were indeed only some spirit tools inside. The spirit stones were basically gone, and they were probably already plundered by the white steamed bun. Yun Chujio put away the storage rings, then, she sneered and said, "Do you think you can dismiss me with such a little thing? You can either give me 10 or 8 immortal tools, or you can give me 100 million upper-grade spirit stones. Otherwise, I will start to smash them." Of course, the white steamed bun would not give it so easily. He was crying about being poor and pretending to be pitiful. Unfortunately, these things did not work on Yun Chujio at all. In the end, he could only reluctantly give 100 million upper-grade spirit stones to Yun Chujio. "Little fairy, now you are satisfied. I will send you out. Don't worry. This time, I will definitely not send you to a dangerous place," the white steamed bun said ingratiatingly. Yun Chujio glanced at him. "It doesn't matter if I send you to a dangerous place. I will come back anyway. When the time comes, HMPH. Bai Mantu sent Yun Chujio out with a smile on his face. Then, he revealed a sinister smile. "Stupid girl, I will use my trump card this time. You will definitely die." Chapter 1365 The Miserable Road of the White Steamed Bun. When Yun Chujio opened her eyes, she discovered that she had been transported to a valley. In the distance, there was a pool. It was the place where she had first entered the great desolate realm. Yun Chujio looked left and right. There really weren't any demon beasts. It seemed that the white steamed bun had sincerely changed. Yun Chujio came to the side of the pool. There were still strange red fish swimming inside. It seemed that there were other wild single-horned bulls that were raising them here. While Yun Chujio was looking at the small fish, dark clouds suddenly covered the sky, and large pieces of dark clouds began to gather. Wu Yun and Wu Yun looked at each other. Yun Chujio frowned. Was it going to rain? The sky was getting darker and darker. The strange red fish in the pond began to swim back and forth uneasily. In the end, they all dived into the water. It was obvious that they could not withstand the pressure of the dark clouds. Yun Chuzhou could not help but sneer in her heart. Since there was such a strong pressure, then it was not an ordinary rain. Could it be that Bai Mantu was taking revenge on her and wanted to kill her with lightning? Kill her? What a joke. Alright, Bai Mantu. Since you are so stubborn, don't blame me for not being polite. I want to absorb all of your heavenly lightning power. I want to see how you will howl when the time comes. Thinking of this, Yun Chuzhou took out a handkerchief and wrapped her hair. Then, she found an empty space and sat there leisurely, humming a tune. Bai Mantu, who was in the palace at the bottom of the river, looked at Yun Chuzhou's reckless look and laughed so hard that she could not even straighten her back. Well, this fellow did not have a waist to begin with. Damned girl. Just you wait. Although you have the heavenly lightning spirit root, I don't believe that I won't be able to kill you. When the time comes, take what's mine and spit it out. Even the weak water will be mine. When the time comes, you'll be able to live a carefree life again. Bai Mantu's hands began to form seals. Yun Chuzhou sat on the ground and lazily raised her head to look at the dark clouds in the sky. Bai Mantu, if you want to split it, then hurry up and split it. I don't have the time to waste on you. Bai Mantu, who was making a seal, was shocked. What? The stupid girl knew that it was going to split her. Humph. So what if she knew? Did this stupid girl really think that she was not afraid of being struck by lightning just because she had a heavenly lightning spiritual root? Watch how he'll deal with you. Boom. A purple heavenly lightning as thick as a wrist struck down at Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou did not dodge at all and allowed the heavenly lightning to strike her body. Then, she raised her head and said, Bai Mantu, if you don't know how to use the heavenly lightning, then don't use it. I don't think this thing of yours is called heavenly lightning at all. It's more like a vegetable lightning. It really matches up with your white Mantu. Bai Mantu was so angry that he struck down more than a dozen heavenly lightning consecutively. Yun Chuzhou acted as if nothing had happened. Moreover, he kept provoking her, Bai Mantu, no wonder you're hiding at the bottom of the water. So you're really trash. You don't even know how to use heavenly lightning. TSK, if I were you, I would have knocked my head against the wall and died. Being alive is a disgrace to the weapon spirit world. The knitting ball, which was knitting a 6-piece sweater set, shivered. Yun Chuzhou's words reminded it of the stupid things it had done in the past. TSK, Bai Mantu, you're courting death. You should never have struck our black-hearted master with lightning. When the time comes, you will have used up all your heavenly lightning power. Just wait and see. However, White Steamed Bun did not know about Yun Chuzhou's abnormal physique. It was so angry with Yun Chuzhou that it jumped around. Humph, it was only a dozen heavenly lightning bolts. Stupid girl, just wait and see. I don't believe that you won't die after I struck 180 heavenly lightning bolts. Rumble. 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 White Steamed Bun continued to strike down the heavenly lightning bolts continuously. It was also moving quickly toward its tragic path. Chapter 1366, Breakthrough. After Bai Mantu struck more than 100 bolts of lightning, he took a closer look and saw that Yun Chuzhou was still sitting there leisurely. There was nothing wrong with her. Impossible. How was this possible? How could more than 100 bolts of lightning not kill her? Bai Mantu, I've said it before. You're a trash. Don't strike anymore. Even if you strike, it'll be for nothing. TSK, this is the first time I've seen such a trash weapon spirit. Qi Ling looked at Bai Mantu. Bai Mantu was furious. I don't believe that I can't hack you to death. I'll hack. Ill hack. Ill hack. Rumble. 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 An unending stream of heavenly lightning began to strike. Yun Chujio didn't care about this little bit of lightning at all. However, she discovered a problem. The lightning spiritual force in her body was actually starting to stir. Could it be that she was about to break through? Yun Chujio's heart was filled with joy. She did not expect to have such an unexpected harvest. It seemed that she had to let the white bun strike her for a while more. An hour passed. Yun Chujio was still alive and kicking. The white bun could not help but feel a little discouraged. Could it be that this stinky girl was really not afraid of being struck by lightning? White bun, have you used up all the power of lightning? To tell you the truth, I have already reached the limit of what I can bear. However, you have no power of lightning. Are you so angry that you want to die? Yun Chujio placed her hands on her waist. She looked up at the sky. Bai Mantu was delighted. This brat had already reached her limit. That's great. She still had half of her power of lightning left. She would definitely be struck to death. Hence, Bai Mantu struck Yun Chujio again. After a quarter of an hour, Yun Chujio lay on the ground and said weakly, "Damn you, Bai Mantu, do you think you can kill me? Although I only have one breath left, don't even think about killing me." When Bai Mantu heard Yun Chujio's words, how could he hold back? Another bolt of lightning struck down. Io, I am only left with half a breath. However, damn you, Bai Mantu, do you not have the power of lightning anymore? I can feel that the power of lightning just now has begun to weaken, so you cannot kill me. When I am better, I will look for you. I will beat you into a white pancake. I'll sun you up until you're dry. Bai Mantu was so angry that he didn't care how much power of the lightning he still had. All of it struck at Yun Chujio. In the end, the heavenly lightning was only as thick as a finger. Yun Chujio estimated that Bai Mantu had exhausted the power of the lightning, so she stopped pretending and stood up. She smiled at Wu Yun in the sky and said, "Bai Mantu, thank you very much. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to successfully break through. Although your formation lightning is a little weak and only allowed me to advance by 3 levels, it's still not bad." What? Not only did the smelly girl not die, but she also broke through. Bai Mantu rubbed his eyes in disbelief and then fell to the ground. It's over. He was tricked. Only then did Bai Mantu realize that he had used all the power of lightning. How was he going to deter those demonic beasts in the future? Just when Bai Mantu had nothing to live for. He heard Yun Chujio say, "Bai Mantu, you don't have any power of lightning now. If you don't want to be bullied by the demonic beasts in the future, then quickly get your ass over here. Otherwise, HMPH. Bai Mantu struggled with himself for a long time. He chose between his self-esteem and reality and obediently teleported himself in front of Yun Chujio. "Little fairy, did you really break through? I could tell that you might break through, so I helped you." Bai Mantu said flatteringly. Chapter 1367, Bai Mantu who wanted to cry but had no tears. Bai Mantu, are you shameless? You helped me. I think you want to kill me, right? Then you can take the things on me for yourself, right? Yun Chujio said with a sneer. Bai Mantu licked his face and said, "Little fairy, how can I be such a person? How can I dare to harm you? Wouldn't I be asking for trouble? Little fairy, look, you've already leveled up. Shouldn't you give me some of the power of lightning?" Yun Chujio glanced at it and said, "Give it back to you. Did I borrow it from you? If you want it, you can exchange it with something or buy it with spirit stones. Then how much is it? It's not expensive. A bolt of heavenly lightning costs 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. How many do you want to buy?" Yun Chujio said indifferently. Bai Mantu fell to the ground on his butt. A profiteer. A black-hearted profiteer. This was not expensive. A bolt of heavenly lightning cost 100,000. If he bought 1,000 bolts, wouldn't that be 100 million upper-grade spirit stones? 10,000 bolts would be 1 quadrillion upper-grade spirit stones. Little fairy, can this be cheaper? I bought too much. Give me a discount. Bai Mantu said pitifully. If you don't want to buy it, you can't give me a discount. Yun Chujio curled her lips. Damn it, you also had this day. Why didn't you think about the present when you harmed me? Discount? Don't even think about it. Bai Mantu's face wrinkled into a ball. He gritted his teeth and said, Little fairy, I really don't have that many spirit stones. How about this, they'll give you some heaven-rank spirit herbs from the great wilderness mystic realm, okay? Yun Chujia's heart skipped a beat. This was even better than spirit stones. Many spirit herbs here were extinct. With just a flip of her hand, she had more than 1 billion spirit stones. However, she frowned and said, You really don't have any spirit stones? Little fairy, I really don't have any. Yun Chujio sighed and said, All right, then I will reluctantly agree with you. Let me tell you, Bai Mantu. If the quality of the spirit herbs is not good, I don't want them. Bai Mantu nodded repeatedly. After forming a seal with both hands, it disappeared. 2 hours later, Bai Mantu returned and handed Yun Chujio a large pile of spirit medicine with soil. Yun Chujio glanced at it. Some recognized it and some didn't, however, the grades were indeed all heaven rank. She was very satisfied in her heart, but on the surface, she said with disdain, Is this all? Bai Mantu was afraid that Yun Chujio would not be satisfied, so he gritted his teeth and took out a few stalks. Little fairy, this is all I have. Please be magnanimous and sell me some of the power of lightning. Yun Chujio put away the spiritual medicine and then returned some of the power of lightning to Bai Mantu. Bai Mantu almost cried when he saw the power of lightning in his hands again. Why did he have to do this? After going through all this, not only did it lose a lot of heaven-rank spirit herbs, but it also lost its integrity. It should never have gone against this stinky girl. She was not a human at all. She was a pervert. She was a devil. It decided that it would change that bullshit Little Jioha to Devil River. Yun Chujio was satisfied. She could not be bothered with Bai Mantu. She hummed a little tune and left. Bai Mantu gritted his teeth. Although he hated Yun Chujio to death, he did not dare to find fault with her anymore. He prayed in his heart that he should hurry to the day when the mystic realm was closed. Otherwise, this wretched girl might go and find him uncomfortable. He was really afraid of this monster. 2 days later, the day when the great wilderness mystic realm was closed arrived. Everyone was sent out. Bai Mantu was completely relieved. He had finally sent that fiend away. Chapter 1368, Shui Wuji, who was forced to get married. The students of Tianyuan Academy were all sent out one after another. As they had obtained many high-level spiritual herbs in the Grand Desolate Realm, they were all extremely excited. I picked a low-level heaven-rank 7-leafed wooden lotus. I also picked a heaven-rank 7-leafed wooden lotus. I also picked several high-level earth-rank spiritual herbs. I really struck it rich. What are you guys talking about? Not only did Yin Sulian pick 2 sky-rank mid-grade red bead soaring heaven grass, but she also picked more than 10 earth-rank herbs. One of Yin Sulian's lackeys bragged. Yin Sulian revealed a smug look. It's just good luck. It's nothing. That lackey immediately shouted, This luck is also part of your strength. Oh right, Yun Chujio, what did you pick? Everyone's gaze focused on Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio sighed, My luck isn't very good. I only picked a few stalks of black-grade spirit herbs. I can't compare to you guys. When everyone heard Yun Chujio's words, although they didn't dare to mock her on the surface, they all felt very disdainful in their hearts. TSK, what bad luck, to actually pick so few things. When Feng Ming and the other two saw this, they quietly said to Yun Chujio, junior sister little Jiu, we've picked a lot of good stuff. We'll give you some when we get back. Yun Chujio bared her little white teeth. I'm lying to them. I'm not as stupid as them. If we get good stuff, we'll have to make a fortune in silence. If everyone knows about it, wouldn't it be bad if someone were to target us? The corners of Feng Ming and the other two's eyes twitched. Alright, we're stupid too. Junior sister Jiu is such a monstrous existence, how could she not get something good? The things that the students picked could be exchanged for contribution points. Some of the students exchanged all the spirit herbs they picked for contribution points. Yun Chujio only took out a few stalks of black-grade spirit herbs to exchange for dozens of contribution points and received a pile of rolled eyes. Yun Chujio sneered in her heart. HMK, sister doesn't want to exchange. Otherwise, just the 9 nether stones in my storage ring would scare you to death. Yun Chujio felt the voice transmission talisman in the storage ring trembling. She took it out and took a look. One was D. Baiming's and the other was Shui Wuji's. Yun Chujio opened D. Baiming's first. D. Baiming's concerned voice came from inside. Little Jiu, did the Grand Desolate Realm trial go smoothly? Yun Chujio was not surprised that D. Baiming knew that she had gone to the Great Wilderness Mystic Realm. After all, the Tianyuan Academy could not hide such a huge piece of news. She replied a few simple sentences and then could not wait to open Shui Wuji's voice transmission talisman. This fellow really wanted to know if Shui Wuji had been forced into a successful marriage. Shui Wuji's sobbing voice came from the voice transmission talisman, little Jiu, little sister, I'm sorry. I originally wanted to celebrate your birthday, but this old man is really too strict with me. However, little sister Jiu, don't worry. I will definitely visit you if I have the chance. Brother Wuji, I heard that you were forced to marry. What's the result? Yun Chujio asked with a wicked smile. Shui Wuji's gnashing voice came from the voice transmission talisman. Humph. I'm brave and unyielding. Victory will eventually belong to me. Yun Chujio almost burst out laughing. She suppressed her laughter and replied, Brother Wuji, I have high hopes for you. On the other side, Shui Wuji, who had been forced into a desperate marriage, was suddenly revived with full health. Little sister Jiu said that she has high hopes for me. I must not let down little sister Jiu's confidence in me. I must fight to the end. If my father has high hopes for that idiot, if it really doesn't work out, he can marry him himself. Chapter 1369, Lan Luchen's visit. Following the end of the trial, Tianyuan Academy regained its normal order. Yun Chujio had created dozens of refined iron puppets during her spare time. However, she realized that her spiritual sense could not be separated frequently, so after making 3 more puppet discs, she did not dare to continue. However, she felt that it was more or less enough. Even if the refined iron puppets were to be damaged, she could just change the puppet discs to better refined iron puppets. Yun Chujio still had a useless name, so the 5 puppets were, as expected, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. This guy was still very proud of himself. The names that she had given him were so good that they could go down the list without ending. Even if she had tens of thousands of puppets in the future, she could still call them number 10,000. Not only did Yun Chujio build so many puppets, she also added a lot of chili noodles, rapeseed oil, and the like into her storage ring. This guy thought that it was always good to be prepared. Yin Haoyu, that old thing, had not made any moves, perhaps he was holding back some big move. That afternoon, Yun Chujio returned to the dormitory after class and was taking a nap when she heard someone knocking on the door outside the courtyard. Yun Chujio shouted impatiently, "Who is it?" Why are you knocking in the middle of the day? It's so annoying. However, she still got up and walked out of the room angrily. She estimated that the person who came was most likely a dry old man. This old bastard had often come to study Yun Chujia's puppet number 1 ever since he knew about it. After Yun Chujio opened the courtyard door, she couldn't help but be stunned. There was a man standing at the door with a hint of melancholy in his eyes. Lan Luochen. What was he doing here? Yun Chujio was obviously from the Appearance Association. When she saw that beautiful face, she couldn't say anything drastic. She could only ask, Lan Luochen, are you looking for me? Lan Luochen nodded. Can I go in? Naturally, Yun Chujio could not reject him, so she let Lan Luochen into the courtyard. Lan Luochen glanced around and was very surprised. The courtyard was actually very warm. In addition to the flowers and plants in the courtyard, there were also 3 pear trees. The fruits on them had already matured and were emitting a sweet fragrance. Whether it was the swing under the tree or the stone table on the south side of the courtyard, they all made the entire courtyard seem extremely warm. Lan Luochen inexplicably liked this place. Yun Chujio saw that Lan Luochen had been looking at the Jushan fruit trees. She thought to herself, could it be that he was craving for fruits? Hence, she picked a plate of fruits and said, eat a fruit. The taste is still not bad. Lan Luochen stretched out his hand to take the Jushan fruit and said indifferently, thank you. Yun Chujio looked at Lan Luochen's hands and could not help but curse in her heart. What the hell was a man doing with such good-looking hands? Compared to his hands, her hands were like chicken feet. Lan Luochen did not eat the fruit but kept it in his storage ring. Then he said, Yun Chujio, I came here this time to ask if you have picked any purple sunflower grass in the great wilderness. If you have it, I am willing to buy it at a high price, or you can use it to exchange for it. Yun Chujio's heart moved. Purple sunflower grass. Bai Mantu gave her a few stalks, but she didn't have any relationship with Lan Luochen, so why should she sell it to him? This purple sunflower grass was extinct now, and she might use it at any time, so she couldn't admit that she had it. Therefore, Yun Chujio said in surprise, purple sunflower grass. Isn't that a heaven-rank spiritual herb? I only picked a few black-rank spiritual herbs in it to exchange for contribution points. You'd better ask someone else. Chapter 1370, Purple Sky Sunflower Grass. When Lan Luochen heard Yun Chujio's words, the melancholy in his eyes became even more intense. He felt as if his entire being was immersed in sorrow. Yun Chujio could not help but ask, what do you want the purple sky sunflower grass for? My mother has an old illness. The prescription only lacks a single purple sky sunflower grass. This time, I came to the Tian Yuan Academy to try my luck. After all, the Tian Yuan Academy often has some secret realm trials. Perhaps I can find the purple sky sunflower grass. I also had high hopes for this great wilderness secret realm, but unfortunately, I still didn't find the purple sky sunflower grass. I asked some of my classmates, but they didn't pick it, so I wanted to ask you. This was the first time Yun Chujio heard Lan Luochen talk so much. Seeing that he looked very sad, she couldn't bear it. However, she wasn't related to him, so naturally, she couldn't take out the spiritual medicine just because of sympathy, so she comforted him, maybe there's still a chance. You can ask someone else. Besides, there might be a new mystic realm trial in a few days, and you can find the purple sky sunflower grass yourself. Lan Luochen nodded, I can only do that. Sorry to bother you, goodbye. After Lan Luochen said that, he turned around and left the courtyard. Yun Chujio's mouth opened and closed, but she still held back the words that came out of her mouth. It was better to ask the pretty boy to decide. Yun Chujio took out her voice transmission talisman and told him everything that happened. After a while, Di Biming replied, Lan Luchen's mother does have an old illness and the Lan family has been looking for purple sunflower grass at a high price. As for whether you want to sell it to him or not, it's up to you. I don't have any objections. It's just that I don't want to reveal my wealth. You should understand. Yun Chujio curled her lips. You gigolo, you're really cunning. Why did you add that sentence after you have no objections? You just don't want me to sell it to Lan Luochen. Forget it. I'm not familiar with him anyway. There are many pitiful people in the world. Don't tell me I can't interfere. Yun Chujio persuaded herself and threw this matter to the back of her mind. Unexpectedly, after a few days, Lan Luochen came to visit again. Yun Chujio's heart couldn't help but beat faster. Could it be that Lan Luochen was certain that she had the purple sunflower grass? Otherwise, why would he come again? Yun Chujio let Lan Luochen into the courtyard. Naturally, she couldn't just sit there. Hence, Yun Chujio brewed a pot of tea. Needless to say, after the wife of the palace master's patient teachings, Yun Chujio's tea ceremony was still pretty decent. It was also quite pleasing to the eye. A trace of surprise flashed across Lan Luchen's eyes, but he did not say anything. He picked up the teacup and slowly sipped his tea. Seeing that he did not speak, Yun Chujio naturally did not want to be so cold. Hence, she picked up a few heroic deeds from the Huang class and started talking about them. This fellow originally wanted to ease the awkwardness, but he did not expect that once he mentioned his heroic performance, he would not be able to stop himself. He talked until he was beaming with joy. Lan Luochen listened quietly. He only asked a few questions occasionally, but Yun Chujio continued to talk more and more. Yun Chujio finally realized that she was talking too much. She looked at the time and realized that 2 hours had passed. This guy laughed dryly. I'm really sorry, I talked too much. It's okay. Since I'm a member of the Huang class, I naturally want to know more about the Huang class. They'll come and listen to you in the future. Oh right, these are our specialty products from the far north. They'll give them to you to try. Yun Chujio was about to refuse when Lan Luochen had already stood up and left the courtyard. Chapter 1371 Eating a man's mouth is short. Yun Chujio looked at the food on the stone table and then looked at Lan Luochen who was far away. She felt that perhaps this person did not want to owe her a favor. Last time, he ate her pearl fruit, so this time, he gave her some special products. Anyway, they were not valuable. Since they were all sent here, she would accept them. This fellow would not admit that she had never eaten these food before, so she was a little greedy. A few days passed in a row, and Lan Luochen did not come again. He was still cold and indifferent during class, so Yun Chujio was relieved. It seemed that he had only returned the favor last time. Unexpectedly, this afternoon, Lan Luochen came again. Yun Chujio could not refuse him. Moreover, Lan Luochen was holding a plate of spirit fruits in his hand. My family just sent it to you yesterday. They'll give it to you to have a taste. This kind of golden juicy tangerine is only available in our extreme north. It blooms once every 1,000 years, bears fruit once every 1,000 years, and ripens once every 1,000 years. Not only is the fruit sweet and delicious, even the skin is used to stew the meat. Although Yun Chujio tried her best to restrain herself, she still couldn't help but take a look at the plate of golden orange in Lan Luchen's hand. No matter how attractive the golden color was, this guy had already swallowed the polite words that were on the tip of his tongue. He let Lan Luochen into the courtyard. After Lan Luochen used the cleaning spell to wash his hands, his slender and fair hand peeled a golden orange and handed it to Yun Chujio. Try it and see if I'm exaggerating. Yun Chujio took the tangerine and put it into her mouth. The sweet juice immediately flowed out, as if it was sweet to the heart. This guy immediately threw the remaining tangerine into his mouth and ate happily. It was the first time Lan Luochen saw someone smile so contentedly after eating a tangerine. He also smiled and helped Yun Chujio peel another tangerine. Yun Chujio did not stand on ceremony. She took it and ate it. As she ate, she said, "This golden juicy tangerine tastes really good. Thank you so much. It's just some food. It's not worth anything." Lan Luochen peeled the tangerine and said nonchalantly. It was not good for Yun Chujio to chase Lan Luochen away just like that. She continued to talk about the Huang class, but it turned into self-bragging. Lan Luochen relaxed when he heard her interesting talk. The sadness in his eyes disappeared. From this day on, Lan Luochen would give Yun Chujio some spiritual fruits and snacks every 3 to 5 days. He didn't talk much. He just drank tea and listened to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio was a little reluctant at first, but she felt that it was not bad to have such an audience. After all, Feng Ming and the other two were busy cultivating. She didn't have any other friends. Moreover, Lan Luochen was very easy to let down one's guard. It was not just a matter of looks, but the faint melancholy from the inside out. No matter how hard she tried, she could not associate him with a vicious person. Yun Chujio was a very loyal person. Lan Luochen had sent things over and over again. This fellow felt that it would be unjustifiable if he did not take out the purple sky sunflower grass. Moreover, he did not ask for it for nothing when he said that he wanted to buy it. Thus, on this day, when Lan Luochen came again, Yun Chujio said, "Lan Luochen, did you say that the spiritual herb you were looking for last time was the purple sunflower grass?" Lan Luochen's eyes lit up. "Yes, could it be that you know who has it? The wife of the palace master of the Temple of Immortals is my aunt. She has one, and I shamelessly asked for it. Here, do you think it's what you want?" Yun Chujio took out a purple sunflower grass from her storage ring and handed it to Lan Luochen. Chapter 1372 came up. Lan Luochen trembled slightly as he took the purple sunflower grass from Yun Chujio. His eyes were red as he sobbed, "Yes, this is the purple sunflower grass. After searching for so many years, I've finally found it." After Lan Luochen calmed down, he said to Yun Chujio, "There's no need to thank me. This storage ring contains 1 billion upper-grade spirit stones. It's a small token of my appreciation. If you need me in the future, just say the word and I'll do my best." Lan Luochen had already prepared for Yun Chujio to pretend to reject him. Then, he saw Yun Chujio put away the storage ring without hesitation. Then, he said with a smile, "You have to keep your word. This purple sunflower grass is something that I've asked for with great difficulty. In the future, if I need you, you're not allowed to refuse." The corner of Lan Luochen's eyes twitched and he nodded, "As long as you make a request, I will do it." Perhaps because his mother's illness could be cured, although Lan Luochen's temperament was still a little melancholic, he was clearly more worldly than before. Occasionally, he would talk to the students of the Huang class, he would even occasionally smile. This smile was not a big deal. Many female students were instantly mesmerized and attracted even more suitors. Yun Chujio could not help but be secretly happy. It seemed that it was not a good thing to look too good. Just like how Lan Luochen and the gigolo were so troubled that people would stare at them like flies whenever they were free. However, her looks could be considered to be devastatingly beautiful. Why was no one mesmerized by her? On this day, Yun Chujio voiced out her doubts. Then, she saw the faces of Feng Ming and the other two stiffen. Finally, Feng Ming considered his words. "Junior sister Xiaojiu, you are indeed peerlessly beautiful, but we ordinary people really cannot bear it. Only a heaven's favorite like your esteemed self is worthy of you." Yun Chujio was not stupid. She naturally understood Feng Ming's subtext. Fuck, he just despised me for being too valiant. Humph. Poor taste. The gigolo was still the best. When she was the darkest, ugliest, and most useless, he had already seen through her and fell in love with her at first sight. Then, he pursued her in every way possible. Xiao Hanyo was speechless. Master, don't you feel guilty saying this? Who was the one who hugged the gigolo's thigh and said that he adored her? Who was the one who sent love letters and wrote love poems? Ever since Yun Chujio sold the purple sunflower grass to Lan Luochen had been looking for Yun Chujio more frequently. Yun Chujio was also happy to have someone listen to her, so the two of them got along very well. Feng Ming found that Lan Luochen frequently entered and left Yun Chujio's courtyard, and Yun Chujio's impression of Lan Luochen was getting better and better. He was a little conflicted. He remembered what Di Baiming had told him and gritted his teeth. He decided to become a traitor. After receiving Feng Ming's voice transmission talisman, Di Baiming was so angry that he smashed the table into pieces with a slap. 3 days later, Tianyuan Academy was in an uproar. The esteemed one had arrived. Originally, many female students had already transferred their love for Di Baiming to Lan Luochen. However, when they saw Di Baiming, who was as cold as a god, they immediately felt conflicted. Oh my god, one ice and one water, which one should they choose? It was really too complicated. Di Baiming and Dean Huangfu chatted for a moment before they got up and walked towards the dormitory area. Everyone was extremely curious. Why didn't your esteemed self go to the guest room to go to the student dormitory? Everyone followed behind and saw Di Baiming arrive outside Yun Chujio's courtyard. Everyone understood that the palace master's wife must have asked your esteemed self to send something to Yun Chujio again. The palace master's wife was really good to Yun Chujio. Chapter 1373, Di Baiming's jealousy. Yun Chujio didn't know the news of Di Baiming's arrival. Although Feng Ming and the other two knew, no one told her. It had to be said that Di Baiming was very prescient in this aspect. Before he took Yun Chujio down, he had already taken down everyone around her. If there was any news, it would reach Di Baiming's ears. At this moment, Yun Chujio was drinking tea with Lan Luochen in the courtyard. There were 2 plates of pastries on the stone table. They were sent over by Lan Luochen from the far north. Lan Luochen frowned slightly. Someone was here. After a while, Yun Chujio also noticed it. She was very puzzled. Why did she feel that there were many people coming over? She hadn't done anything bad recently. Would anyone come to settle the score with her? Yun Chujio, come out and welcome me. Your Majesty is here. A teacher's voice sounded from outside the courtyard. Yun Chujio's eyes lit up and she ran towards the courtyard entrance. When she opened the courtyard door, she saw Di Baiming staring at her with his dead fish eyes. This fellow suddenly felt a little guilty. Pooey. What am I guilty of? I haven't done anything wrong to the gigolo. Humph. After this fellow finished his mental preparation, he said with a smile, Brother Baiming, did my aunt ask you to send me something again? Di Baiming nodded, then he said with a straight face, that's right, my mother also wants me to tell you a few words. She wants you to study at the Tianyuan Academy so that you can cultivate properly, not come to drink tea and chat. If you don't cultivate properly, then drop out. No one had expected Di Baiming to say such a thing. Furthermore, when they saw Lan Luochen and the teapot and pastries on the stone table in the courtyard, they immediately understood what Di Baiming meant. It must be that the palace mistress knew that Yun Chujio and Lan Luochen had a close relationship, so she could not stop them openly. She must have asked the honored guest to pass on the message. However, why would the palace mistress not want Yun Chujio to have a relationship with Lan Luochen? Although Lan Luochen's family background was not comparable to the Longevity Palace, but it was 1,000 times stronger than Yun Chujio's. Moreover, Lan Luochen's appearance and spiritual power were both outstanding among people. The palace master's wife's objection was too unreasonable. Yun Chujiu never thought that Di Baiming would say this. Of course, she understood that this was not the palace master's wife's intention. It must be the damn gigolo who was jealous. Damn it, aren't you being too jealous? You came all the way here just to make me lose face. Yun Chujia's little face sank. Brother Baiming, please tell my aunt that my tea and chatting did not delay my cultivation. Moreover, it's up to me whether I quit school or not. Even my aunt can't interfere with me. When Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujiu actually contradicted him in front of everyone, his aura became even colder. The people around Di Baiming could not help but shiver. Yun Chujiu was in trouble. His Majesty was about to get angry. Yun Chujiu, since you are so stubborn, then I can only follow my mother's orders and take you back to the Temple of Immortals. Di Baiming stared at Yun Chujiu and said. Yun Chujiu was so angry that her face was red. If you dare to take me away, I will hang myself in your Temple of Immortals. When Di Baiming heard Yun Chujiu's words, he was even more furious. The black thing must have a good impression of that Lan Luochen. Otherwise, she would not treat him like this. She must have mistaken Lan Luochen for that mermaid. Thinking back to the time when she drew the portrait of that mermaid, she even talked about some he issues. It was simply infuriating. Chapter 1374. She had a fiancé when the atmosphere was tense. Lan Luochen said calmly, Your Excellency, Yun Chujiu and I are classmates. It shouldn't be inappropriate for us to drink tea after class and exchange our cultivation experiences, right? If Aunt Yi is dissatisfied, I'll ask my mother to explain it to her in person another day. Aunt Yi. Everyone, including Yun Chujiu, was stunned. The wife of the palace lord was called Yi Jins. Why did Lan Luochen call her Aunt Yi? And he even asked his mother to pay a visit. Could it be that Lan Luchen's mother knew the wife of the palace lord? Di Baiming understood the reason. It was only when he investigated Lan Luochen this time that he found out that Lan Luchen's mother was one of Di Linhan's 3 junior sisters, Chu Lingyun. Ever since the palace lord's wife and Di Linhan got married, the palace lord's wife had used all sorts of methods to make Di Linhan basically cut off all contact with his 3 junior sisters. They had not contacted each other for many years. If it wasn't for Di Baiming sending people to investigate the Lan family in detail, he really wouldn't have known about this relationship. Young Master Lan, little Jiu is pure-hearted and doesn't know that people are evil. That's why my mother is very worried about her. She hopes that you will stay away from her in the future. Di Baiming had never been a person who gave people face. When he saw that Lan Luochen had taken the initiative to send himself to his death, he naturally wouldn't be polite. Lan Luochen smiled faintly, then, he looked at Di Baiming with a burning gaze. Although Aunt Yi is Yun Chujiu's elder, she doesn't have the right to stop her from having a normal relationship with her classmates, right? Or do you really not want Yun Chujiu to have a relationship with me? Di Baiming's eyebrows suddenly stood up. Such an obvious provocation could only mean one thing. Damn it, this Lan Luochen really had improper thoughts towards black things. Yun Chujiu knew that something bad was going to happen. The pretty boy was so agitated, he would definitely announce their relationship. Forget it, let's just say it. Although she was not too strong now, as long as she did not show off, it was not a problem to keep her little life. Di Baiming clenched his fists, almost blurting out his relationship with Yun Chujiu. But when he thought of the Gui Yuan sect and Medicine Valley, once the news was announced, little Jiu would definitely be in trouble again. The Yin family's matter had not been completely settled. If it caused the jealousy of Qin Mingzhu and Bailey Yan, the 2 idiots, little Jiu's situation would be even more dangerous. Di Baiming thought of this. He looked at Lan Luochen coldly. Young Master Lan, no matter if it's my mother or me, I don't want little Jiu to be too close to you. Because little Jiu's elders have already arranged a marriage for her. So if she is too close to you, it will be very difficult for us to explain to her fiancé in the future. When everyone heard Di Baiming's words, they immediately exploded. What? Yun Chujiu has a fiancé? Why haven't I heard of it before? We aren't familiar with her, so it's not strange that we don't know. No wonder your majesty is so angry. Since this Yun Chujiu has a fiancé, she is indeed too intimate with that Lan Luochen. Yes, although we cultivators don't have so many restrictions, we still have to have basic etiquette. Since she has a fiancé, she shouldn't be too intimate with other men. I heard that Lan Luochen would come to Yun Chuji's dormitory every few days. That's right. This man and woman are always together. It's really hard to say. Yun Chujiu was about to explode from anger when she heard everyone's discussion. However, she did not dare to refute Di Baiming. She knew that this was already Di Baiming's biggest concession, so she could only remain silent in anger. Pretty boy, just you wait. Wait until there's no one else. See how he'll deal with you. Chapter 1375 The vinegar jar becomes the essence. Lan Luochen saw that Yun Chujiu did not speak and knew that what Di Baiming said should be true. He felt a wave of disappointment in his heart. If Di Baiming did not come today to break through this layer of window paper, he would not have felt his thoughts. He did not expect to be frozen to death by a basin of cold water as soon as it sprouted. Your Excellency, even if Yun Chujiu has a fiancé, this does not affect the normal relationship between her and her classmates, right? Although Lan Luchen's heart was in turmoil, his face was still indifferent. Di Baiming said coldly, of course it won't affect her normal interactions, but isn't young Master Lan coming to Little Nine's courtyard a little too frequently? Moreover, since young Master Lan's purpose in coming to Tianyuan Academy has already been achieved, shouldn't he continue to return to the Heaven's Fate Academy to study? A trace of displeasure flashed in Lan Luchen's eyes. Your Excellency, it's my freedom to study where I want. Your control is a little too broad. Although the Temple of Immortals has a high status, our northernmost land is not the territory of your Temple of Immortals. Please be more polite. Young Master Lan, are you trying to provoke me by saying this? Although the Lan family can be considered as well known in the northernmost land, you are not qualified to challenge me. Di Baiming's aura became even colder. Even Dean Huangfu, who had a high level of spiritual power, felt a little uncomfortable. What was surprising was that Lan Luochen was not afraid at all. He sneered and said, everyone says that the Supreme Emperor is overbearing. The rumors are true. Just because I didn't do what you want to destroy our Lan family? How outrageous. Yun Chujiu saw that the two of them were getting more and more aggressive. It was about to escalate to a fight between two major forces. She quickly came out to smooth things over. Brother Baiming, Lan Luochen, stop arguing. It's a big deal. I'll be more careful in the future. Brother Baiming, what good stuff did my aunt give me? Come in and give it to me. Coincidentally, I have something that I need you to bring back to my aunt. Lan Luochen, you should go back first. We will discuss the materialization of spiritual energy another day. Yun Chujiu winked at Lan Luochen. Of course, Lan Luochen did not want to have a conflict with Di Baiming. Seeing that Yun Chujiu gave him a way out, he said calmly, all right, since that's the case, let's talk another day. Goodbye. After Lan Luochen finished speaking, he did not even look at Di Baiming. He squeezed through the crowd and left. Yun Chujiu saw Di Baiming staring at her like a dead fish. He was like a wooden stake that was emitting cold air. She could only say, Brother Baiming, come in. Di Baiming gritted his teeth and followed Yun Chujiu into the courtyard. Then, he waved his hand and the courtyard door closed with a bang. He even activated the isolation array. Although the people outside were extremely curious, they could not see what was happening inside. Black thing, you've really grown up. You actually dared to talk back to me for such a thing? And you even went to the Temple of Immortals to hang yourself? If you want to die, why don't you die now for me to see? Di Biming was so angry that he smashed the stone table into pieces with one palm. Yun Chujio was also angry. She had been holding back her anger for a long time. However, she did not lose her temper just now because of the presence of others. Now that she heard Di Biming say this, she immediately placed her hands on her waist and pointed at Di Biming's nose to scold him. Pretty boy, you still have the face to scold me? What is it that you don't know how to tell me properly? You even brought a large group of people here. Are you trying to catch me in the act? Didn't I just chat with Lan Luochen a few times? Do you have to be so jealous? You are so jealous. Chapter 1376, Get Lost. When Di Biming saw Yun Chujio say this, he became even angrier. Black thing, how dare you speak your mind? Did you just chat with that damn Lan Luochen a few times? Did my mother teach you the tea ceremony so that you could make tea for him? It's fine if you sold him the purple sunflower grass, but you still hang out with him all day. Could it be that you felt that he looked like that mermaid, so you fell in love with him? Since when have I been hanging out with him? Aren't we just drinking tea and chatting? You're just narrow-minded, you're just jealous, you're just unreasonable. Yun Chujio felt very wronged. I don't have any other thoughts. What right does a pretty boy have to malign me? I'm narrow-minded? If I was narrow-minded, I wouldn't have let you come to Tianyuan Academy. I should have locked you up in the Hall of Immortals. You're always fooling around. It wasn't easy for Shui Wuji to stop fooling around. You got me another Lan Luochen. Didn't he just give you some fruits and pastries? Are you that greedy? Am I lacking in your food or your clothes? Di Biming stomped on the plate of pastries on the ground and crushed it. You're the one who's fucking greedy. Lan Luochen is more understanding and gentle than you. You're an overbearing and unreasonable bastard. Get lost. Yun Chujio was about to go crazy from anger. I'm just a little greedy. Do you have to say that about me? Di Biming heard Yun Chujio praise Lan Luochen and belittle him. His face turned white from anger. Good. Very good. Black thing. You're really ruthless. Since you think so highly of him, he'll get lost. He'll never appear in front of you again. After Di Biming finished speaking, he slammed his palm onto the courtyard gate. Not to mention the courtyard gate, even the isolation array was shattered by this palm strike. Some onlookers were looking outside the courtyard. They were blasted hundreds of feet away by the remaining force of Di Biming's palm strike. Even Dean Huangfu and the other teachers with profound spiritual power were forced back a few steps. It could be seen how furious Di Biming was. Dean Huangfu, I still have something to do. Goodbye. Di Biming said to Dean Huangfu with an ashen face. Dean Huangfu didn't dare to say anything and could only say, Your Excellency, please take care. Di Biming flicked his sleeves and left. In just a few breaths, he had disappeared without a trace. Dean Huangfu looked at the courtyard again. The stone table had already turned into stone powder. There was no need to mention the courtyard door. It had already turned into dregs. Fortunately, Yun Chujio was still intact. It must have been a quarrel between the two of them. This little 9 girl really knew how to be evil. She had actually angered the Exalted One to such an extent. Sigh, young people really know how to cause trouble. Dean Huangfu sighed and also left. The other teachers also dispersed. The surrounding students even ran away, afraid that Yun Chujio would vent her anger on them. Yun Chujio casually pointed at a student from the Huang class. Go and find a few odd job workers for me. Fix the courtyard door for me. That student went to fix the gate. Yun Chujio's words were absolutely useful in the Huang class. After a while, a few servants came to fix the gate. Yun Chujio was so angry that she paced back and forth in the yard. Damn it! Damn it! Damn that gigolo! He always played this trick on her. He always wanted to break up with her. Don't ever show your face to me. Damn Debiu. Always jealous, damn it. Let's call it pickled fish. Chapter 1377. The miserable Feng Ming Yun Chujio was so angry that she didn't even eat her dinner. After scolding the pretty boy thousands of times, she got up and started eating. Damn it, she couldn't punish herself with other people's mistakes. She should eat and drink. Damn it, how did the pretty boy know that Lan Luochen and I are close? Could it be that he has spies in Tianyuan Academy? It must be so. Damn it, if he knows who betrayed me, I will kill him. Feng Ming, who was wearing a bitter face, sneezed fiercely. Gung Yi, Shi Xian, you must save me. With junior sister Jiu's intelligence, she will definitely guess that I betrayed her. She must torture me to death. Shi Xian smiled bitterly and said, you have already done it, why are you afraid that she will know? I am also doing it for junior sister Jiu and your excellency, okay? Lan Luochen ran to junior sister Jiu's dormitory for no reason. It was obvious that he had no good intentions. It was a boil that would come out sooner or later. I just moved the time forward, Feng Ming said righteously. Gung Yi pursed his lips and said, since you are so righteous, why are you afraid that junior sister Jiu will know? Although I think I did the right thing, junior sister Jiu might not think so. You also know that junior sister Little Nine has a belly full of bad water. If I knew this, I would have no way to live. You guys quickly help me think of a way. Feng Ming was about to cry. Shi Xian thought for a moment and said, although junior sister Little Nine is naughty, she won't go too far. You can go and beg for forgiveness tomorrow morning. Maybe you will suffer less. Otherwise, if she finds out, you will probably suffer. Feng Ming also knew that there was no other good way, so he could only agree with a bitter face. The next morning, Feng Ming came to the outside of Yun Chujia's courtyard. Little Ninth Junior Sister, Little Ninth Junior Sister. Feng Ming called out carefully. Senior brother Feng Ming, what do you want from me? Yun Chujio didn't sleep well the whole night. She had just fallen asleep in the morning when Feng Ming woke her up. One could imagine how bad her face must be. Feng Ming immediately swallowed his words. I'd better come another time. Saying it now would be equivalent to courting death, so he said, junior sister Little Jiu, I brought you breakfast. Feng Ming gave the breakfast that he had prepared for himself to Yun Chujio and then ran away as if he was flying. Yun Chujio looked at the breakfast in her hand and her heart warmed. Senior brother Feng Ming was probably worried that she had not eaten last night because of anger, so he brought her breakfast early in the morning. If she had known earlier, she would have treated him better just now. Feng Ming delivered breakfast for 3 days in a row. Finally, on the 4th day, he mustered up his courage and said, Junior sister Little Ninth, actually, I was the one who reported the secret to your esteemed self. I was also doing it for the two of you. That Lan Luochen clearly has no good intentions. Even if I didn't say it, your esteemed self would have found out sooner or later. Senior brother Feng Ming, sigh, I originally thought that you and I would be closer than being close to a gigolo. I didn't expect that you would actually betray me. I'm really too sad. Yun Chujio actually guessed that Feng Ming was the snitch on the 2nd day. This guy was really mean. He deliberately didn't expose it, but it made Feng Ming's heart beat continuously. She felt that this kind of knife hanging above her head without falling down was even more torturous. Feng Ming saw that Yun Chujio revealed an extremely disappointed expression. He immediately panicked. Junior sister Little Jiu, I really did this for your own good. I promise that I will only do it once. Next time, even if your esteemed self uses a knife to force me, I will not betray you again. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.